Well, welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams. Hope you're having a great day. It's the 13th of September. And in case you hadn't read on Facebook, it is our weatherman's birthday today. Colin Pittman. You've met Colin. And you'll get over it with some counseling. And he's a great kid. And seriously, he turns 18 today. He looks all of at least 14 or 15, but he turns 18 today, so he's a man today. All right. And speaking of men and women, we have some great guests today. We really do. Great topics. Kirstin Davis. Did I say Kirstin? Kirstin. Okay. It is Kirstin. Okay, well, then I have it wrong on the cheat sheet. Okay, and how long have we been doing that, Kent? Okay, well, Kirstin Davis is here. She's providing off-camera counsel right now from the Better Business Bureau. And as you know, there's a lot going on, especially with the hurricanes and everything else going on, and we're going to talk about all that, how you can keep your money safe. Spokane Jazz Orchestra is here. They're going to set up in the whole room and play a lot of music. No, we're going to talk about their upcoming season. Michael Cathcart is here, and he's the man about town. He's going to talk about a lot of things, better Spokane, but he's going to talk about why the no on Proposition 2 is important to business in our community, and we're very interested in that. And all of that fun will be next on Spokane Talks Live.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
I'm Lexi Dyson. I am an archaeological technician for the Tahoe National Forest in California. Archaeology is perfect for me. It kind of combines all of my loves: history, my love of culture, my love of arts and science. As a girl, you don't really get told that science is for you. Like when you look on TV, you always see men in lab coats. I was a freshman at North Central. Randy James was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Randy was one of the first people who told me that you are good at this, you can do this. His favorite phrase that he would say to us that really stuck with me is, Yato, you are the ones. We're the ones who are going to make the difference. We're the ones who are going to make the change. You really start thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, we are. I am the one that's going to do this. The work we're doing in Tahoe definitely is going to be here for good. Our purpose here is to preserve things and to make them last, to be here for good, for those future generations to enjoy. I love the variety of it and being able to see things that nobody else really gets to see, and having that touch of history and connection to people in the past. I am helping people by preserving their own heritage, their own resources. One of the things I love about STCU is using the STCU mobile app no matter where I go. It could be here in Tahoe National Forest, I could be back home, or it could be clear away across the country. I've been so impressed by their willingness to help and just be there where I need them to be, basically. It gives me a sense of home, even though I could be 3,000 miles away, 6,000 miles away, which I have done with STCU, and I've never looked back. I'm Lexi Dyson, and STCU is here for good.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. Hope you're having a great day. And it's Better Business Bureau Wednesday, isn't it?
It is.
How are you?
I'm doing okay today.
Kirstin? Yeah. And you were telling me that I haven't made that mistake very often.
No, I was wondering if that was going to trip you up a little bit.
Yeah, it did. It did. We have a note up there who my guests are because at my age I don't remember everybody and all that. Hey, before we get into talking about Equifax and some things like that, I'm really curious with all of the news that we've had recently with the hurricanes and tropical storms and everything else that's come through, there are a lot of folks out there. Even my wife said something this morning, we should make a contribution. I said, make it to like Red Cross or something that is clearly the organization that we know and understand.
Absolutely.
And so how are you, what is your advice to people these days?
Right. And so this is there are so many natural disasters right now between hurricanes and wildfires and all of that. So what first and foremost we want to remind people to do is to do their research.
Yes.
And bbb.org is a great place, but also when it comes to nonprofit donations, give.org is our accredited charity site, which lists really good information about the different charities and
what to look for, what not to.
And gives their ratings and all the information that they provide, but also specifically to these events, which agencies and which organizations are helping directly. What people need to know and be very clear as to what you're looking up, because there have been over 300 domain names started that have some kind of,
I'll bet,
different version of Hurricane Harvey relief or Help Irma or whatever.
Everybody jumps on the bandwagon.
Absolutely. And you also need to be very careful of those crowdsourcing sites where, helping an individual family or a specific person. Those are pretty easy to set up. And unless you know that person directly, you want to, be wary of those.
And I've seen a lot of celebrities, sports figures, and others out there. Should we trust that, or you know what I mean?
You
kind of wonder.
I know,
and
absolutely.
they're probably not going to come up on anyone's radar in terms of history.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
no, absolutely. Yeah, because they're happening very quickly.
Right.
Again, do your due diligence. Just, if there's a phone number, if there's an address, if they can give you that information, then feel, and you feel confident, then go ahead and do it. But those, those tried and true organizations that are really ready and they can execute so quickly, like a Red Cross, the Humane Society is
Salvation
great.
Army,
different
there are
ones.
a couple of religious groups that you can trust and so forth.
And they are equipped to handle major disasters like this, so they can usually be most efficient with your dollars.
Well, and the fact is, there's a lot of, and I get it, of what can I do? I can send coats, I can send this, I can send, and it really comes down to they need cash.
And
because they need to buy things closer to the situation, not in Seattle to send to Florida.
Well, and you have to remember that sending items means somebody has to receive them, somebody has to sort them, and then somebody has to distribute them.
Right.
And that's
it may or may not be what they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, if it just your dollar is going to go so much further than an item, just the cost of shipping it, that money would pay for so much more. So, and this is going to be a long time recovery. This is several years that we have.
Absolutely. We're not measuring it in hours or days or weeks.
And let's not forget about our friends in Montana. That area is just, and in Oregon.
Really
we've just been devastated this year, and there's a lot of need out there, and be patient and keep going.
Good information, good advice. All right. There's been a little incident at Equifax. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes. I call it the Hurricane Irma of data breaches.
So what should we do?
Well, here's the thing. If you have a credit report, there's a good chance that you are impacted. 143 million people have been impacted.
It covers
by this.
A lot of folks, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. So there's a few things we need you to do. First thing, you want to find out if you were impacted.
Okay.
And Equifax has set up a really easy site to do that. I've done it myself. I've had all my family members do it.
Okay.
The site is Equifax Security 2017.com, and I believe that's on the screen for you.
Okay.
And so it's real easy. Just click on the button that says potential impact. They ask you for the last few digits of your social security number, and then it says yes or no, you may have or may not have been impacted.
Okay.
So that's pretty simple.
So you get a yes. What do you do?
Well, so you get a yes. The thing is, we don't know exactly how you're impacted or what that's going to mean.
Okay.
So there's a few steps you want to go through. One is to request your free credit report from all three of those major agencies. Which you can do every year. Yeah, you can do it once every year from each one of those agencies.
Right.
And the important thing is you want to go to annualcreditreport.com. That website is very specific, and it is the only one that is endorsed by the Federal Trade Commission.
Okay.
There's going to be other ones that are very similar.
Yes.
Say that again. Not the same thing. Annualcreditreport.com. Okay, so that's really where you want to go there to get those free credit reports. And then consider doing either a fraud alert or a credit freeze on your accounts.
Okay.
The difference is the fraud alert basically says that if someone tries to access your credit report,
you're alerted.
You will let me know. It lasts for 90 days.
Okay.
You have to then, it will just go away after 90 days unless you re-up it.
Right.
Or a credit freeze means nothing gets through nobody can apply for credit on your accounts, and you actually have to get a code and arrange for that to be lifted if somebody does need access to it. So, those are your two options in terms of monitoring.
Good.
And then the next thing is, just like we tell you all the time, monitor all of your accounts very closely. Yeah. We don't know exactly what this impact is going to be, but we do know that
we may not know for a while.
Right. And that credit report information is much more deep and detailed than other data breaches because it is our credit report.
Yeah.
So
it's all there.
It's a big one. Yeah. It's a big one. So if you find that you have been, your information has been compromised, so now we're dealing with ID theft.
Right.
You want to go to identitytheft.gov.
Okay.
And they have a really great little step-by-step process. I don't say that lightly. It's not easy as 1, 2, 3. It's a few months of 1, 2, 3s.
Okay.
Which is not a lot of fun, but that's just the best way to work yourself through the process.
What you've got to do. I mean, you do it now or pay for it later.
It's the world we live in today. Yeah. It just is. And
we want all the convenience, and we want to be able to do things online. We want to be able to take it on a card and all of that. And once in a while, these things kind of put roadblocks up to us, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what else do you have?
Well, I do want to let everybody know that we just launched the Better Business Bureau mobile app. It's really cool. We have over 30 million businesses nationwide in this app.
Okay.
And so it's basically a mobile app as you go. You can look anything up. It's categorized by different areas, or if you're traveling and you need to look something up in Atlanta or something like that. It'll have information all across the country, and then we'll indicate who's accredited, who isn't.
Okay.
It has scam alerts on it.
Okay, so if I decide I want to go to Oregon and go to Portland, I could, I want to go into a certain store, I can check on them.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. It's very handy, and we hope people get a lot of use out of it.
Not that I'd want to go to Portland, quite frankly, but that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, but you never know where I thought of these hurricane victims. What if all of a sudden I'm, relocated, and I would like to know,
that's going to happen?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So how are you doing with all this, huh?
Good.
A lot of good information to get out.
Well, it's important. We just want people to be safe with their information, and just...
So if people want to get basic information from the BBB, and they can go from there to all of these various sites and so forth, what would that very difficult website address be?
bbb.org/Northwest.
Okay. Yes. That's a tough one.
I know. I've given you a lot of websites today. I understand that.
But you can go to that and get the links.
And get to where you need to go.
Which is, to me, is what you do. You go to the simple one, and from there, you might find other things that would be of interest to you, too, which is good. Kirstin, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Always good to be here.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, it's Edward here at RuggedTrainingCompany.com. And it's boot season again, and we have every boot to fit your need, from Chippewa to Carolina to Wolverine to Morel, Danners, even Boulets. So come on down and check us out at RuggedTrading.com. Hope to see you there.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Good to have you here today. We have a fun time for the next few minutes because we're going to talk about all that jazz. Wasn't there a musical that included that? What was that? So, yeah, I know. Okay, you don't want to encourage me because I might start singing and there goes the whole program. I'm going to look at my notes because Dr. Don Goodwin, all right, medical doctor, right? Yeah, okay. Brain surgery. Right. You're the music director with the Spokane Jazz Orchestra. Right. And Kevin Berkompas.
Berkompas. Yeah,
you only told me how to pronounce it before and then I mess it up. All right, Kevin. We'll call you Kevin and Don. We're walking into the fall here, and it's time for some music. Tell us about the season. What's coming up? Right. You're board president.
I am.
Right?
I am. And we have an exciting season coming up. It's called Jazz, the Music of Life.
Okay.
And we're entering our 43rd year. We are the longest continuously community-run jazz orchestra in the United States.
Really?
And
I love it when we beat everybody else in Spokane, right?
And, the quality of music, these are professional musicians putting together exciting ensembles as well as old classics in a traditional big band format.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun night out, and you're just going to enjoy it if you come.
Okay, so when is the first performance?
It is Saturday, September 23rd.
Okay, my son's birthday. All right, that's good, easy to remember.
At 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
And all our concerts are at the Bing.
Okay, great. We have a couple of great downtown facilities, don't we? Between the Bing and the Fox and I&B and so forth. We've really kind of come of age a little bit in the last couple of decades. Don, what goes into making up your first performance, but also the season? What's your thinking about as you look at how many performances coming up this season?
We have 4 performances.
Okay.
And to answer the first question, we sort of start by looking at guest artists.
Yeah.
And figure out who's available, and then we let the selection of those guest artists kind of lead us in some sort of overarching direction.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to move a little closer to them, or move the mic a little closer to you, just so we pick you up. And so you work in tandem with the guest artists and so forth, and
with the board as well.
Okay,
we all sort of, it's a mind meld. We try to come up with an interesting sort of overall theme.
Yeah, and a little different each time, I would guess. Okay,
yep.
A little theme there. Okay, so on the 23rd, what's the theme? What can we expect to see other than great music?
Yeah, our guest artist for the 23rd is the fabulous female vocalist Dee Daniels.
Okay,
and she is coming in. We're doing a concert that she's calling a swinging good time.
Okay.
So it's obviously we're playing a lot of swing music.
Yeah.
A lot of more traditional music, but also some modern things.
And some of us more mature folks will remember swing, right?
Absolutely.
You're not old enough, but some of us will remember.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It'll be really wonderful. I've been working with Dee and selecting the music over the past 2 or 3 months, and getting all those parts ready for the band.
Right.
We just started to rehearse last week. We had our first rehearsal, and it's really, really going to be a very, very fun concert. Dee's super excited. It's primarily her music or arrangements that people have done for her.
Okay.
But also she asked me to do an arrangement of one of her compositions.
Fun.
That was a really special honor for me to get to do that. And so that'll be on the concert as well.
Great. How many in the orchestra?
There are 17 members.
Wow, that's pretty good size, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you see in some of these smaller communities, they kind of barely get by.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean.
And you can have a small group, or
right.
some people do 10-piece orchestras,
right.
But the traditional big band size is 17, 18 musicians.
Yeah, great. That's nice. What would you suggest to people in terms of getting tickets? I assume you want people to show
absolutely.
up, right?
They can get tickets on Tickets West.
Okay.
And also, if you go to SpokaneJazz.org, our site, you can
link to
that.
Right.
I want to mention a special treat that we have for the September 23rd concert. The reigning Miss Spokane, Mackenzie Moody, who's a student at Whitworth, is going to be singing a number.
Yes, and she's been in on one of our shows. That's great.
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
Be fun
now,
too.
what's the cost to go out for a great evening of jazz?
Well, we're proud to keep it reasonable. $25 ticket. And
$25. That's it.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so it's really reasonable. There are still seats in the orchestra section available.
Okay.
So I really encourage people to go snap those up before they're gone.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yep. So let's remind folks again where they can get tickets, because now is the time to do this. We are a last-minute community, but sometimes if we're going to get those orchestra seats, we got to get off our, you know what, so we can get in the right seats, right?
Yep.
So
that's right.
Website again?
Tickets West.
Okay.
You can obtain tickets. You can also link there through our website, SpokaneJazz.org.
Okay.
Again, it's Saturday night, the 23rd of September,
right.
7:30 p.m. We'll start right on time, and it's at the Bing.
Wow, that's great. And then how many performances, I probably asked you this before, but how many performances throughout this season, which is goes four?
Yes,
okay.
This will be the first of 4.
Okay, so you have another one this fall, do you?
We have one on December 2nd, kind of our Christmas jazz celebration.
Okay, great.
With a guest artist, Julia Keefe.
Okay.
And then March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, will be what we call our Northwest.
There's a theme going on here.
Yeah. It gets better. Northwest Composers Showcase, which will feature Nicole Lewis, who's also a local vocalist.
Yes.
And then the last one will be Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. And that's going to feature a local group of musicians called Milonga, led by Nick Vigil.
Wow, and we've had a couple of those folks on here, so you've got a great lineup. And $25 is a really good deal. So, and lots going on downtown. It's kind of fun to get back into the fall season because a lot of this stuff starts up again. We've had this summer in the park and all of that, but now it's time to go back to downtown and eat at a restaurant and take the spouse out to a performance and maybe even some of the older kids to learn about jazz, because I think sometimes we forget about that. I listen to 2 channels on the radio when I listen to the radio. One is EWU's jazz station and the other is the GU classical station, because we hear so much of everything else that every other station plays, and once in a while it's nice to have a little what I call nice background music and not someone yelling at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nice. So, all right, that sounds great, and I'll have to talk to my son about that on the 23rd. He turns 40. I guess he's old enough to start going to musical things in the evening, right?
Probably.
Oh, probably. Okay. Don and, Kevin, all right? Okay, my age is showing. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for what you offered the community, because this is important, and I know, having been a board member on a number of things over the years, there's a lot of responsibility, and to keep all things together, and especially Megan, who's been advising you and so forth. But great. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about a negative impact potential on Spokane right after this.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're going to bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here, and we're going to bring in some folks over the course of the next couple of months that we're going to talk about some of the things that will be on the ballot. We're doing a Meet the Candidates program with candidates and so forth, where the candidates come in for about 10 minutes with Sue Lonnie Madsen, and she chats with them about who are you, why did you decide to do this, where did you go to school, and kind of the soft things. And we're also launching a Candidate Confidential, which is in a sense going to take on the issues that we're facing this fall, and both issues meaning propositions and so forth, but also candidates, where they'll talk about the 2 or 3 things that are most important. It won't be a debate in a debate sense, but it will be a big step up from just talking about who they are. And the plan will be not to take on your opponent, but to talk about, if I'm elected, these are the kinds of things that are important, and here's what I would do. Where the Meet the Candidates a little softer, just to get to know who people are. One of the things that I'll be doing on the live program is talking about some of the issues, because I have some real strong opinions about things, and one of them is the Proposition 2 that is on the ballot this fall. And my guest today is Michael Cathcart. You've worn several hats over the years in several places, right? And I think they're still chasing you, but no.
That's right.
Your main job, your everyday job, is Better Spokane, right?
It is, yes.
You know, and we need to talk about that at some point,
sure,
and have you in. But I want to talk about this because I saw the other day on Facebook, and I've got to learn to stay away from Facebook, okay?
Don't we all?
Yeah. What was your favorite teacher, and what was your favorite class? And unfortunately, and probably because of my age, I don't remember her name, but I remember the 8th grade class on the U.S. History and Constitution. And I was not a great student. I got by. It was the one class I got an A+ in, because I did a report on the U.S. Constitution and our history. I really loved it. I still do. And so I know enough to know that the proposal on Proposition 2 is unconstitutional.
Quite a bit.
What? I mean, and you've got attorneys and a bunch of liberals out there pushing this because they feel like, and it's all about feelings these days, Michael, as you know, that, we're going to have a big accident or something else with these coal trains coming in. And it's all about the far left liberal agenda, and I get that. And this is where I end up not being, where I end up doing commentary, and I realize that, okay? But there are certain things I feel strongly about, and this is one of them. We've been talking about it on the Sheriff's Report that we do. Real Estate Radio is going to do this in the next couple weeks as well, because it has a real financial job-killing trajectory if this passes. That's one part. The other part is it's going to be very expensive to fight it because it is unconstitutional. And And so where are we on this? What kind of coalition do you have as you look at bringing the truth about this out to the public, Mike?
Wow, well, that's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to make it as easy.
Sure. Well, let me just maybe back up a couple steps really quick, so folks know, and they probably do because they watch your show. But basically, what this proposal is a proposed $261 fine per car per train carrying coal or oil through the city of Spokane.
Right.
There's some nuances to that, but that is essentially what it boils down
right.
to. They actually, in the language of the measure, refer to it as a prohibition on coal and oil. That's what they refer to it as.
But if you do it, then you're going to pay a fine.
Right, you'll pay a fine. Now, there are consequences to this, things that will happen as a result if it were to pass and were to be implemented. Big question marks on both. But as far as the coalition, I guess right now, I mean, we've got a great group of folks that are very outspoken against this. The business community is really coming together. All facets and groups that really don't necessarily have a lot to do with railroad issues per se or trade issues per se, but the Spokane Association of Realtors.
I was going to say, and it's one of their very few times they've stepped up on an issue like this.
Yeah, they've always been a great organization to work with. They've done some great work on various campaigns in the past. But yeah, they stepped up on this. That's great. AGC has stepped up. GSI, Todd Milkey is very outspoken. Sheriff
we talked about that 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
right. But also we have folks from the labor sector as well.
Now, why would the labor sector care about a business issue?
Well, the machinists are the folks that work on the railroads, and so they will be directly impacted by this if it were to be implemented. Right. So of course they are very outspoken against it. So there's a very broad coalition of folks from all sides of the aisle that have come together. And in fact, if folks haven't seen the recent Inlander article, I think it was last week. They interviewed Center for Justice Rick Eichstadt.
Right.
And, now this is an issue Rick has fought on for a long time. And he actually came out and questioned the legal validity of this measure and punted a little bit, but basically, took a neutral stance as far as the issue goes because of the legal hurdles and question marks that exist out there.
Right.
Others have made similar comments. So from the hearing examiner of the city of Spokane ruling it illegal, the policy advisor, Brian McClatchy, to the city council last year when the council tried to do this councilmatically, he told them before they even voted this was illegal. They voted on it anyway, and then they quickly retracted.
We have a council that seems to be doing that.
On. Yeah. Sure, and we can talk about those issues later. But yes.
Yeah, don't get us started, right? We'll be here for 2 more hours.
Well, 2.
2.
Let's make it 4.
Okay. Great. I think you've pointed out, I get that people want to be safe and everything else, but railroading is safe. And one of the folks pointed out the impact this would have on our roads if we stop this and what it would do to have, because it won't go away. We still have to get coal and oil transported. And so it's something like how many hundred a day trucks driving. And
so
I mean, we're talking about major impact in just a different way.
So approximately one train is about 280 trucks.
Okay.
280 trucks for one train.
Wow.
So you have 10 trains, 10 times 280. 20 trains, 20 times 280. So
wow, I didn't realize it was that much.
That's how many it is. But so not only do you have the impacts of all these additional trucks rolling down I-90 on our highways, moving the material, because like you said, it's going to move either way, whether it's safely on the rail or on our road system.
Right.
But now you've got the congestion, you've got environmental impacts because it would actually increase carbon emissions by 70% to go from rail to truck. So the folks that are advocating for this, I mean, they selected these 2 specific commodities because they're fossil fuels that they dislike.
Right.
That's it. It's not about safety. If it was about safety, chlorine would have been included.
Yeah.
There's a whole host of other chemicals they could have easily included in this. And they chose not to because it's not about safety.
Probably
it's
a bunch of old tenured professors, liberal professors.
Well,
did I say that out loud? Oh.
Well, but the point is it's still going to move, and you would have now these increased carbon emissions as a result of this. Right. So there'd be negative environmental impacts resulting, And the folks that advocate for this, I think that actually flies in the face of what they think they're going to achieve.
Well, you shift it to a different venue.
That's right.
A different way of transporting that could be and can be much more impactful on our environment.
That's right.
What's the point of that except that you feel good that you've moved things?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the cost to the city and others to fight this legally if it passes, because what we're set up to do is to have a big attorney cost. I mean, the only one that ever win in any of these things is you know where I'm going are the attorneys, okay? And so what is the potential impact to homeowner in Spokane, the city of Spokane? By the way, this is just the city of Spokane. It's not the county, it's the city, right?
It is the city, but it will have wide-ranging impacts.
Right. But I mean in terms of costs.
And, I think it's appropriate to point out that one of the drafters of this measure is, in fact, an attorney, Councilman Brian Beggs.
Right.
So you're right.
Appointed to the city council.
Correct. It all comes back to attorneys. You're exactly right. There will be significant cost to city taxpayers, to the city council, to the city of Spokane. Right now, as folks who live in our city or live in our county have seen, we have terrible streets, potholes everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, they've gotten a little better since winter's ended, and they finally got on to fixing them.
Right.
But they weren't prepared.
No,
they didn't get on it quick enough.
Right.
And the council could have very quickly acted to do something about it, and they chose not to. But part of that reason was financial issues.
And they're taking up issues like this.
And they're taking up other issues, of course. But what this would do is it would take more money away from these priorities.
Right.
We need to hire 44 more cops in the city of Spokane.
Yeah.
If we're spending $500,000 or however many hundreds of thousands of dollars on litigation over an issue that just simply isn't a priority for our city,
right.
Well, what does that mean for the real priorities like public safety and roads? It just makes no sense at all. It's a backward scenario.
Okay. So what can people do to get more information?
Well, they can visit our website, first of all, protectspokaneseconomy.com.
Okay.
That's the committee that is doing
this.
They can go online. There'll be a voter's guide up. I'm not sure exactly when. I think probably early next week.
Okay.
And that'll be on
clearly before October 1st, before the ballots come out.
Right. Because we are actually submitting our final portion of that today. It's due by Friday, so I assume over the weekend it will be put together and hopefully put up next week sometime for voters to see. And they will get to see our argument, the opposition's argument, and a rebuttal for each.
Okay.
So they will get a lot of good information there.
Good.
Of course, there's going to be a debate at some point with right here in this studio.
Right.
And that'll be a very good informational opportunity for people to see. And there's just a lot of information. There's some good articles to read and a lot of good information out there that
I'm really pleased to see. Because, as you know, often it's labor against management or business and management, that kind of thing. The fact is, in fact, we're starting a program in a couple of weeks called Labor Talks, and the labor unions are actually supporting it and sponsoring it. And it's not. We've agreed with them, and they with us. It's not political. It's about the good things that happen in Spokane, because there are a lot of things like this, where labor and business come together, where they see the benefit or the effect on both. And it comes down to jobs. Sure. I mean, we're about jobs in this town. If we're going to solve our social problems and everything else, it's about putting people to work.
That's right.
And to me, I love it when we highlight some of the small businesses and things that are going on in Spokane, because there are a lot of good things going on. And you look nationally with the Dow Jones and jobs coming back and so forth. And I see it all as positive, and we need to be headed in that direction. Briefly, we've got about couple minutes. Let's just talk about what is Better Spokane.
Sure.
What's the main objective?
Well, let me quickly add one point, and I think it rolls into kind of what Better Spokane is.
Yeah.
One of the big concerns about this measure and similar measures that we've seen in previous years from Envision Spokane and groups like that is that it really hurts Spokane's attractability for employers.
Yeah.
Right. And what it does is it creates this massive distraction where we're all focused on this railroad issue. We're not focused on growing jobs. We're not focused on making this a great place for employers to come and set up shop. And instead, you know, it creates a lot of question marks. Well, if they're going to ban coal and oil, what's next?
Yes.
Is it lumber? Is it airplane parts?
Our wheat supply here?
Right. I mean, it could be anything. If you can ban coal and oil, you can ban anything. Right. And so really, that's going to run through the mind of potential employers who might be looking to site their corporate headquarters here or a satellite office or something else. So Better Spokane, we are still kind of in a startup mode.
Right.
We were kind of put together throughout last year. I was hired in December. And what we are is a pro-business advocacy organization and a civic engagement group.
How is that different from GSI and some of the other things we have in Spokane?
Well, I think kind of 50,000-foot view, the difference is GSI is a lot, they do a lot of things, but one of the things they do is lobby.
Yeah.
We're not so much a lobbying group. We want to educate the public on issues.
Okay.
You know, that's not necessarily GSI's mission. It's not necessarily to educate the public. It's to outreach to their members, to help their members, and to lobby the city council and the commissioners as needed.
Okay, good.
So we're not necessarily there to lobby. We're there to educate the public so that they are more informed, so they understand the business issues and a lot of the things facing our city and things we could do better to grow and have a stronger economy and just make this a much more attractive community for employers.
And maybe not try to pass so many things that are anti-small business.
Well, anti-small business, divisive to the community.
Yeah.
I mean, there is just resolution after resolution on issues that the city council can't have any impact on whatsoever.
Yeah.
All it serves to do is divide the community. Yeah. You have to take a side. We don't need that. That's not what we need. We need a community that comes together, that works
when we
together.
all grow,
exactly,
it helps all of us. I mean, we've got a homeless issue. We're gonna do a program in a couple of weeks, a meeting of the minds where we bring together. And I've talked to Sulani about it, and I said, I've seen things in the last couple of weeks about spending $10 million in the city of Spokane and so forth. I'm not at all convinced that any of it or much of it is working, but I don't know what the answers are.
Right.
And putting down rocks may or may not be. Kicking out what's the group on
the Blessings Under
Blessing
the Bridge.
Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
And those kinds of things, are those the right moves or not? I don't know, but I think we need to talk about what those are and come to some kind of conclusion. Are we going to solve the problem? Jim, that you know and I know, says no, you're never going to solve it, but what can we do to help people?
Sure.
And I think of, what does it mean for my granddaughters to come downtown?
Yeah.
What's the safety issue and so forth? I mean, just all of those things, and we need to talk about this and not be so political, but talk about there are ways to solve some of these problems, or at least move it down the road a bit, so we're all doing better and that these people are having a little more of a productive life and not standing out on the corner with the sign, although you can do quite well, I guess, doing that. I saw you the other day. You were making more money there than at your job. No, I'm kidding, of course. But let's move Spokane into the kind of city and community it can be.
And let's have leaders that stop shooting first and assessing the situation later.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the rock situation, which I question whether spending $150,000 on rocks makes a whole lot of sense. You know, we're digging these large holes for the tanks, right? For the sewer system. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of rocks there we could have moved for free, you know, instead of buying $150,000 worth. But I think we should stop shooting first and then saying, ooh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
How about we think things through a little further?
And have a community
and have
discussion.
A good dialogue. Right.
Yeah, and have a good conversation about it, and not just the people who always show up at these things, which will be often the fringe on both sides.
Right.
You know, and there are ways to solve, at least, again, I don't know if we'll solve it, but we will solve part of it. It won't be completely solved. But I don't know, you know, the building all these House of Charity apartments and so forth. Yeah. My wife, as we drive by, goes, well, why? What is that solving? I don't know. I don't know that I can articulate whether that is really helping or not. I'd like to hear about that. And so I think we need to move in that direction. And so glad to see that Better Spokane is looking at really improving our business climate and talking about the good things going on. Because I've been involved in some small business myself. I've told people I literally started across the street at the Chamber of Commerce 41 years ago.
Wow.
In fact, 41 years ago, this Thursday or Friday.
Wow. You know the date.
Yeah. Well, it was the middle of September.
Okay.
George Reitemauer said, you got to stay for 2 years. I did. I stayed for 2 years and 1 day. It was because it was a great spot. As you know, there are certain positions in town that you get a lot of visibility, and it was a good spot. But so I believe in this town. People ask, where are you from? I'm from Spokane. Well, I lived 30 years in the L.A. area, but 41 here. This is home. My kids are here. My grandkids are here. I've got two grandkids and a daughter in Bellingham, but they're back in Washington now from California. This is my home. And so I want to see us move in the right direction. And small business especially, I think, is more important sometimes than the companies that come in with 200 or 500 employees. Those are great. But we've seen them turn around in 2 or 3 years, and they leave, and all of a sudden they've left a big void of 200 or 300.
So the goal should be to make this just a great community for business.
No matter what size.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right. And, we have so much to offer here. Quality of life and commute times and cost of living.
And a great education.
Near nature, near perfect, right?
Yeah, a great education program. I mean, a public school system and private school system that are fantastic. We're a college community, everything from Whitworth to WSU. We've got a med school here now.
Yeah.
I mean, have we grown up or what?
Absolutely.
And the joke is when we talk about restaurants and so forth is when we came to town, my wife and I, our choices were pretty much between Sherry's and Perkins. That's not the case anymore. We can get whatever we want.
Yeah, we're a bit of a foodie town now.
Yeah, we are. Hey, Michael, thank you for what you and Better Spokane are doing, and come back often.
Would love to.
You? And let's keep talking about this because I'm very worried about our community should this pass financially and the impact on jobs. So
huge impact.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks for watching Spokane Talks Live today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week right here at noon.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see the program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.